there's a kind of phenomena of psychology that, and it's generally this thing that's happened on the right, but this phenomena of psychology and morality and moral ethics, just ethics as well. This idea of, well, we keep finding that really there is a strange tie between people who are left of center and various very untoward to reprehensible and degenerate behaviors, such that the word degenerate has re-entered language, and one could even search the internet for the use, the rise in the use of this word. And degen is something that the young use to describe a variety of things, even to the point where it's this way of joking, that people will be like, blah blah, and I know that's kind of degen, but and so something I'm finding interesting now is an issue that a lot of people are going to really have to start dealing with on the left, with the upcoming campaign shenanigans that are bound to happen, because you see the meme power has risen to this sort of Tesla arc light moment, and so you just have this Tesla machine powered up, and it's just blasting arc lights, and it's just going to keep doing it, because there's so much energy built up now with people who are just ready to go at, in a funny way, the Democrats. And they so enjoy, with the use of social media, doing that, using their editing skills, but especially the fact that right now the Democrats are particularly weak. And I really want to make sure to stress this, because I don't like where this kind of thing has gone, because it's not funny. It's the fact that now you're a party that is soft on Marxism, is quasi-socialist. There's lots of elements of policy and ideas that are proto-totalitarian and based in kind of, in a fascinating area of pseudoscience and kind of Gnosticism, but that there's an inner party that decides what for you. And that's not a good sign. That's a very bad sign. And the MAGA revolution of the Republicans, history is going to show that this was a true change in the political structure of the United States, and that the fact that Chevron has happened with the Grants Pass case about the homeless. There's a number of cases that now have happened that, this is going to change a lot of things. The DEI cases with Stephen Miller's been taking on. This is, and then more than that, then you have all the cases Judicial Watch has launched as well, that it's okay, your laws say you're supposed to be doing this with the voter rolls at this thing, have you been doing it? That there's been repeated lawsuits that have garnered big wins in that department. And it's changed the political structure of power. And now it's a matter of your party has this, now you guys are at the stage that you have this party that won't yield in any way, won't change in any way. Even though it's supposed to be kind of piloted by your votes. That it's supposed to be shaped by the will of the members of the party. And it can't be. That it's built to not change. And so that's really not a good thing. As somebody who's not really a Democratic voter, I just keep not going and re-registering because the nature of of our elections. It keeps working for me anyway. Wow, oh, that's so well done. I gotta show you guys this. This is a good one. This is another one of these spray art ones that's just fantastic. It just brings back the old days. But this is like so surreal, so beautifully surreal. So that you guys don't have, without you guys having some kind of political, having some ability to have political power, you guys get extremely dangerous very quickly. And we keep seeing this over and over. So yeah, you got to see this. This is dope. That's a good one. I've shown you guys a few of these here and there around town, but I forgot if I had ever shown you that. But yeah, you guys get riotously dangerous, and I mean, I don't want that. You'll do anything. I mean, like anything at all. And you now are kind of showing, as Raskin was showing, and there's been a number of attempts at various types of. There wasn't how the ones No Kings Act, because that's what it is. That Trump wants full and a total executive imperial presidency, even though that was literally said about George W. Bush. Obama didn't change any of those rules, only made it even more powerful. Then he repeatedly punished journalists for reporting on stuff that his administration did. He jailed journalists. Julian Assange is one of these people who you guys just totally turned on because Magic Black Man didn't like him. Magic Black Man got shown to be a bad guy. Or maybe not the best guy ever next to Mohammed or whatever, and Karl Marx. I'm not sure exactly how this works. It's got to work something along those lines. So, he's like a double Che plus Karl himself, and he's black. And so the thing that really has changed is that there's been these people that came out of, psychology majors and stuff, and they came out of it like with also an understanding of the writings of Thomas Aquinas and the writings of the Philokalia and things like that. And so they're more than aware of like, well, no, modern psychology is all well and good, but I mean, it has its severe limitations because of the views of the modernists. And so this big educational process started via Facebook, Twitter, DLive, BitChute, that video after video, people had to start explaining to a lot of people who were like Christians or just kind of really normal Americans who just tended to be right of center and very moderate. Like, no, modern psychology, and they would have to explain the modern period as opposed to the period before kind of the Enlightenment or what this reference would mean. And so what you end up getting is now the right has been extremely well educated on the modern period, the thinkers of modernism, how it differs from traditional thinking. But key to it is that a lot of people get sort of these very fundamental things that are sometimes direct quotes from some of the great modernist thinkers. And so they end up having just this, you end up on the right now with a lot of people that just get, no, a lot of this is just about causing chaos and just causing disorder and kind of discord. And so, and you can't really get past that at a certain stage. That's a very difficult thing to sort of like convince people, no, we're not just trying to ruin everything. That there's that which has like a natural order to it because it simply is how people behave. No, we're not doing kind of what the communists did to China or Tibet, but at just a little bit of a slower pace because we can't get weapons away from you. And so now, Britain, you see, Europe under COVID, Britain under COVID, Canada under COVID. We're starting to see it across the Eurosphere, but we're still armed in the United States. And that's just that's the control. That's the factor. There's so little you can do to us because we're armed to the teeth, and you have no idea what to make of that because that what you're dealing with people right of center are far more mentally stable, clear thinking, family oriented people who are very, very normal. And with the left, you're dealing with a more transient population of people who live in cities that they actually establish much more short-term relationships, and there's very strict divisions among the different classes, and so different classes fundamentally almost never have anything to do with one another in some urban area, until the things fall apart and they run into each other with catastrophic effects, as we're seeing now, the rise of tremendous amounts of crime from demographics that you were told by the right these demographics existed. You denied it. So now this is a key part of this psychological issue, that there's this weird thing of like, the projection going on, yada yada yada, these fancy words of modern progressive psychology or whatever. But it's more of this thing of, no, you were actually warned that people from this part of your city are dangerously violent, and now that they show up in your part of your city and do horrible things to you, now it's this thing, it's not so much projection or, well, I'm not sure what it is, but we told you that was happening. We were telling you, no, this is really, here's videotape of this happening, like over and over and over again. Here's all the statistics of this happening. Here's pictures of some of the guys who do this. We're really, and what became fascinating to everybody was how denial manifested. That the denials of horribly violent criminal activity, especially being done to women, it seemed almost like that you were really seeing like that real wackos were starting to become more and more bold in this. And that's another thing I'm actually worrying about. That because of the lack of any legitimate forms of punishment, I'm thinking you're going to get more real wackos doing real wacko things to women where you guys live. And you're going to keep trying to deny it. Because that's everything I've researched. That's what keeps happening. This is happening to women where in this democratic enclave, no, it is not. That is a make-believe, fake news, racist trope or something, or myth or something. And just now I'm just like, no. We keep warning you that this is happening. But what's fascinating is from the left end of popular, internet-informed people culture, this is some kind of deep psychological psyche thing where our psyches don't understand with the understanding of the, unity or something. And so after a while, it really becomes like you keep getting warned that these terrible things are about to happen. But every time they happen, it suddenly is like this crisis that nobody could have seen coming, and this is starting to become more and more like, The Simpsons, or it's becoming more and more like an episode of South Park, that it's like the grown-ups in the room aren't perceiving reality around them very clearly, and So that's a big reason why you're being kind of abandoned. That you're starting to see people actually physically just move away. And so there won't be any of this, but the progressive psychology with its high level enlightened thinking understands that what it is that these are people that don't feel like sharing, and the people are just physically moving away from it, so they don't have to care, and there aren't, so it won't matter. And a big reason it won't matter also is because of the fundamental divisions that you actually have within blue enclave societies that are starting to show more and more and more across the Eurosphere everywhere. They're divided horribly. So good luck with it.